Yes, friends, what's going on? And welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate, as always. I genuinely, wholeheartedly, and really do hope that. And yes, welcome back to Chelsea news. There is a lot, actually. The transfer window remains open for, was it 2 weeks? Best part of 2 weeks? A little while. We are still trying to get players out the door. Players in the shadows that we don't know how we're going to resolve, the likes of Chilwell and Sterling. But also the high-profile exits. Nkunku, Jackson, Nkunku looking to follow the likes of Joao Felix and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall as those sort of attacking pocket players that are going out the door. That can make way for Javi Simons, who only wants Chelsea. And actually, watching that Crystal Palace game and our inability to break down the low block, I think the likes of Javi Simons would be a very, very welcome addition. Yes, we'll speak a little bit about the centre-back situation, of course. And Milan for coming in for Jackson? Could that be a solution? Would it be nice to see him not play against us in the Premier League or make opposition teams better? Strap yourselves in, boys, girls, ladies, and gentlemen. It's going to be a good video. I can feel it in my gonads. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting the content as always. Drop in a like. It's very nice of you. Hey, subscribe. Join the fun. Subscribe. Let's get into it. Where to start? Well, why don't we talk about the centre-back scenario? Because all over mainstream news media, we've seen the conflict in opinion between the Chelsea manager, Enzo Maresca, and indeed the sporting directors / footballing hierarchy. Is this the first time they've disagreed or had friction between them? Possibly. Now, the way the sporting directors / Chelsea hierarchy are looking at the Levi Colwill injury is find your solutions within. You know, you've got players, find solutions within. And Maresca's pretty much said that. He's pretty much said he doesn't agree with that, but that's what the Chelsea guys are saying. And I'll tell you why he doesn't agree with it. Because it's not a defensive issue. Josh Champong had excellent stats yesterday. He had a really tough test against the movement of size, but also he was sort of 1v1 with big old Mateta quite a lot. And he, you know, the young man stood up to it very, very well, you'd have to say. Very good defensively, positionally versatile and comfortable in different starting positions. But that's not the problem. You might be like, well, there you go, centre-backs. There you go, centre-backs defending. But the truth is, Levi Colwill, what we're losing in him is actually a lot to do with ball progression and setting up, plays for the attack, especially against low blocks and line-breaking passes, yada, yada, yada. I actually think getting someone like Lavia back in when he's ready will help us for low blocks as well. But, yeah, and this is Maresca's thinking. He's like, look, I don't have anyone in the squad that can do what Levi Colwill can do. That's what the news stories, the briefings are suggesting. That the Chelsea gaffer is saying, look, I just don't have anyone else that can do what Levi can do. He's so important. And they're responding saying, well, make one. Coach one. Which I think is tricky. Is tricky. Badiashile does have a pass in him. He's, of course, a left-sided left footer. I wonder if he's the closest, but I think even Maresca's like, no, we need someone like Colwill. And to be honest, if that is the case, then why not have two players that can play his role well? I thought that's the whole idea with this Chelsea squad building exercise. You have two players that can fulfill a role in each position. Sure, positionally versatile players can, dip in, and if you're already winning a game, Josh Champong, Trev, whoever can play left centre back, Hatto, and just defend and play defensively, systemically to try and keep the opposition out. But to get ahead, to get that goal, heck, to win games, you need Maresca needs players that can fulfill certain roles in his team, and he's saying that there's no other one like Colwill. So you can see the position we're in. Right, so let's talk about Nico Jackson. So this is an interesting one, Nico, because he is done out here. Chelsea won't bomb squad him, and he's not been bomb squad. He's training with the first team. So if the window shuts, they're like, well, we like you, Nico. You'll be part of the gang. We know you can be part of the system, yeah? You might have lost your first team space because of silly red card nonsense, yada, yada, yada. But we like you, and we think you've got value to this Maresca philosophy. Unlike the likes of Raheem and Chilwell or whatever. Pick your others. But the briefing from everyone, and in fact, the horse's mouth, the manager himself saying it in press conferences, like, yeah, we're trying to find, you know the story. We're trying to find a club for him, which is pretty crazy, really. And we're going to talk about that. Just necked the rest of my second coffee of the day. It's early. I need to chill out. Right. Nico Jackson. He will represent a excellent piece of profit should we sell him inside the Premier League. Of course, now he will not go to the previously linked Manchester United. He could still go to Newcastle, and there's the idea, excuse me, that he would like to go to Aston Villa to rejoin his old gaffer, Unai Emery from Villarreal. He would, of course, be the replacement that they finally needed for John Duran. He is also, 6 years younger than Ollie Watkins, so it's like a nice succession plan there, something like that. And that he gets to stay in the best league in the world, the Premier League, play in Europe with Villa, and obviously they will have ambitions to get back in the Champions League, etc. I have been very firm and consistent with my position on Nico. I think he's a very, very good player, underrated, and he's got a hugely high ceiling, but rather frustratingly, he can have a low floor. That's the problem. But my fear is he goes to a rival and sort of fulfills his destiny and becomes very good. He's been linked to Milan. So Chelsea, understandably, are considering dropping the price of Nicolas Jackson to sell to an AC Milan as opposed to a Premier League rival. They just simply don't have enough the same money. So you just know the buyer that walks into your store, he's got loads of cash in his pocket. He simply doesn't have cash in his pocket, But the guy without cash in his pocket, you're not going to hit, the player won't be dunking against you in the Premier League. So there's always that allure to sell outside the league. And of course, it's a well-trodden path, Chelsea to Milan in recent years. What have we got? We've got Tomori, we've got Giroud, we've got Pulisic, we've got Loftus-Cheek. And of course, not directly, but Tammy Abraham went round the houses to end up. Well, he went to Roma first, didn't he? To end up back at Milan, and since gone to Turkey. Interestingly, so yes, Chelsea and Milan have a very good relationship. Usually, they get bargains out of us, so they've done pretty darn well out of us. Of course, Tomori went there for like 20-something million, played really well, won the Scudetto early doors. So apparently, Chelsea's price tag for Milan is 50 million plus, which has dropped significantly, and it's still too much for Milan. Of course, early doors, when all these strikers were being quoted for crazy money, Chelsea were like, well, look at the data from Nico, 80 million to 100 million pounds. So what's that, 100 million to 120 million euros or something? That dropped. Everyone knew that was just a sort of starting point, and then we all thought, maybe it will eventually go down right to 70, who knows, maybe even 65 million pounds, which is, 75 million euros or something. Should we have sold it internally in the Premier League? Now, 65 million, they probably go, well, if we sell them out of the Premier League, we can drop the price again, let's say 50 million pounds. But yeah, it's just too much for Milan. They just don't have the money, these Serie A clubs, and that's too much. Chelsea could probably still make a profit, like a inverted commas good profit on Jackson to Milan. Well, how much do we spend on him? 30 million, and then what could we sell him for? 45, as in not preferred first choice striker. It's not the end of the world. You don't see him flourish in the Premier League, but they're designed to get this incredibly high Nico Jackson profit. Has dropped significantly, but at the end of the day, if Maresca's looking at it it's still happened, Joao Pedro for me at the moment. And then, yeah, sure, I'd love Nico. And also, Nico's going to be going to AFCON as well. You got to take that into consideration. Let me know what you think. Would you just say, what would you rather do? Keep Nico Jackson around, or sell him to Milan for £45 million, say £10-15 million profit, and you don't need to see him in the Premier League scoring for other teams and potentially dunking on you. He's just having his adventure in Italy. How would you feel about that? Let me know in the comments. Right, let's keep this train going. Choo-choo. In the dead of the night, and indeed yesterday, there's been loads of negotiations between Chelsea and Bayern München. That's right, the Bavarian footballing club. Footballing club? It's a footballing club, Bayern Munich, trying to get Christo Nkunku. Now, I think, I read, should I say, he would love this move, unsurprisingly. I did maintain I thought it would be kind of not a great feeling for him to go back to Leipzig. Or to go to probably Man United or even Forest, who were linked with him. Bayern's the move, because we've seen him do incredible things in Bundesliga and German football, and there's no higher profile than Bayern Munich. He could get his move, his place back in the France team. It kind of seems like the way to go. Now, Bayern do have money. They've spent money. Obviously, they bought Diaz from Liverpool, but Kingsley Coman's gone, and Leroy Sané is gone as well. So that's 2. That is 2. And obviously Matthijs Tel's gone on permanent now. I feel like there is space for an Nkunku, and maybe Vincent Kompany will be like, yeah, I can also play you as a striker behind Kane, like deputising to Kane. And I think obviously a really salient point here is Musiala is going to be injured for months and months. It makes sense, but apparently the deal was on, but then it collapsed, or was on the brink of collapse, and they are considering they want to do a loan with an option. Chelsea just want a permanent transfer. They're like, no, let's just get this done. Let's just get this sorted. There was speculation that maybe a creative agreement could have been reached with a loan with an obligation, but perhaps the obligation fee is not what Chelsea want. Chelsea want like £43 million for him. They spent 52 a couple of years ago. They believe he's a very good player still, even if he hasn't had the good time at Chelsea. I do think, like I said previously, the Club World Cup did him good. Being part of the gang, scoring a good goal, an important goal, lifting a trophy, getting a medal. He's got 2 medals at Chelsea last campaign. You know, he wants to be winning titles in Champions Leagues. He won a conference and a Club World Cup, which feels like it's a big deal at the moment, and it will become probably a bigger deal in the future. And he can look back once he's retired, once he's, got grandkids, like, yeah, I won the inaugural Club World Cup in that, format, and we beat an amazing team, So, yes, a solution is trying to be found, Yannick, English, seeping back into my brain. And, yes, they're basically trying to structure a deal. Chelsea trying to optimize the amount of money they can generate for him. Now, I'll spare you of Alejandro Garnacho chat for today, you lucky little so-and-sos. But Javi Simons, of course, scored and assisted for Leipzig in their first game back this campaign, and he is only got eyes for Chelsea. Romano tweets this: Javi Simons never considered as options for other clubs other than Chelsea. He only wants Chelsea. All parties are waiting for Nkunku's exit as the next step. So that happens, and then they look to get Javi Simons in. No Bayern Munich for him. Man City, they will target him only if... they won't target him. If Savinho joins Spurs, they'll look at trying to get Rodrigo. Javi's kind of indicated to everyone he would like to join Chelsea. Now, football's fickle and reactionary, so allow me to be a bit like that. I love Enzo Fernandez. He had an amazing season last campaign. Very, very productive. Clearly has leadership qualities, being our vice captain, and got loads of goals and loads of assists. I think he had a poor preseason. I actually think he had a poor game against Crystal Palace, and I feel like a player... Obviously, Santos came on. He had a great chance to win the game, and he skies it. I saw friend Alex Goldberg tweet, who I might actually be seeing later. If he's at Strasbourg, he just finishes that and wins the game. But maybe it's the pressure of the London derby, the Chelsea debut, the Stamford Bridge situation. Maybe, I don't know. I think Santos will be fine, but I do wonder in terms of profile of player and building up and breaking down low blocks. I think Javi Simons could be very, very important. Again, I defer to that video analysis from Adam. Is it Adam Clary? I keep saying his name wrong. I'm gonna quickly Google it now. Yeah, the Adam Clary football channel. Very, very good analysis. He did a video a couple of weeks ago now, why Javi Simons might be Chelsea's best signing this summer. I'd recommend you go and find it, and it's sort of a little bit of it's confidence. It gives you confidence that he could be really truly helpful, and of course him just scoring and assisting in the last game is always a positive feeling as well. Young player, a wealth of experience in multiple leagues. Dutch international, so he's got total football in his blood, and he's from Barcelona's La Masia, and he's played in France, and he's playing currently in Germany, Netherlands international. He's got great footballing pedigree. I think he would be an excellent signing. So he's waiting for Chelsea. I guess after Nkunku goes out, they probably just push that deal over the line. Yes. So let me know your thoughts. Jackson exits, the defender, the Javi Simons, all that stuff, and Nkunku. Please do leave your thoughts. Thank you for your continued support. You can do that by liking the video, subscribing, commenting, all that lovely stuff. And of course, should you like my content, there is daily content on the second channel, which is named Football Yannick. So instead of searching football therapy, you swap that to Yannick. You go show me some love by subscribing to that channel where also there's daily footballing content, and I love doing it, so I'd love to have you along. All right, mate, enjoy the football. Peace.